How's it going, guys? My name is Alex and today I'll be comparing two very popular and very competitive games on mobile devices. I'll be comparing FIFA 22 and eFootball 2022. eFootball has been released just recently. I played actually PES 2021. I played eFootball this season for like 5 days already, and I played FIFA 22 on mobile as well for about like 3 or 4 months. I'm actually very good at trading cards there, and I'm legendary in VS attack mode with a very underrated team. So with that said, I'll be comparing the games using different criteria. I'll be talking about user experience, I'll be talking about the gameplay. Let's start with the rating. This is how these games are being rated on their respective app stores. Of course, FIFA has a higher rating just because of how consistent they were with the releases, and with each year they're improving. PES has been a much better game in terms of gameplay. Many people will agree with me for years, but they have been not really consistent in terms of adding new events. The game has been stale for a few years, but this year's release changed everything, I would say. At the same time, some people are still complaining they can't master the game right away in the first few weeks. I feel like they'll be changing their mind very soon. So let's start with user experience. Of course, FIFA has been always on top of their game in this regard. They have had fantastic menus throughout the years, very snappy menus, saturated colors, everything is straight to the point, and there is a home button, very underrated button. I don't understand why Konami insists on not having that button. They have been very good and consistent with that until that Team of the Season event dropped, and for some reason these events have been very poorly organized. A lot of people were saying that they even stopped playing because they don't understand what's going on there and why they need to grind these events anymore. Of course, next season they'll be called AFC, by the way, you probably know that already. And when I talk about Konami, their menus were like from the 90s. There was a lag delay, like input delay when you're clicking on the button. There was no home button whatsoever. There is no home button in eFootball 2022 as well, but it's not a big of a deal because the menus were organized much better. So I would give FIFA 4 out of 5 just because of the mess they introduced with the Team of the Season event, and I would probably give Konami 3 out of 5 just because there is still some subtleties that Konami can improve, like very tedious process of sorting through players, and of course no home button, very disappointing from Konami. And now this is really important, this is gameplay, and I will be giving 10 points. It's important for the company to make sure that a lot of mobile devices are capable of running the game, providing you with a very entertaining gaming experience, and at the same time advancing the graphic, advancing the physics.
Well, they couldn't keep it. Defended well. After the foul, a chance to contemplate what is next, and perhaps a goal from this free kick. And a goal! He's put it away! A celebratory moment!
Well, let's have a look at it again. We know he's good from dead balls. Could the keeper do better? I'm not so sure.
Hernandez eases him off the ball. Great hit! He scored! A pretty simple finish in the end. What do you think, Jim? Well, look, he moves and manufactures in unique fashion. This guy is sheer class.
FIFA 14, FIFA 15 and FIFA 16 were one of the best. After that, they decided to make it very casual. The physics of the players, a little bit of robotics still to this day, and I would give FIFA 4 out of 10 for gameplay, and I would give Konami's eFootball 9 out of 10 because of how good the gameplay is in this game. Of course, you need to dive deep into all the intricacies of playing the team, of building the team, of making sure that your playstyle is fitting the players, and all these little subtleties. And for casual player, of course, FIFA is a much better game, but if you want to really get pro football, like very realistic football experience, you probably need to try out eFootball both on console and on mobile as well. Another one, in-game feel. So whenever you're playing the game, it's gameplay aspect, but whenever you're building your team, you probably are navigating to the menus, applying some contracts, buying players, trading players, and no special like contract items, no additional like weird currencies. I mean, there are some currencies, but they're mostly catered for you to open players at the very end of the day. With Konami, it is a little bit more complicated. It is not geared for the casual user, like I said before. So I would say that if you are into like a very relaxed 30-minute play, casual play, you would probably choose FIFA. For that, I will give them in-game feel 8 out of 10. The entry barriers are different, so I would give Konami's game 7 out of 10. So next one is soundtrack, and I'm not really into soundtracks. I'm not listening a lot of soundtracks. I know that FIFA has a decent soundtrack. For some reason, when I'm in the game, the one song is playing on repeat. I don't understand why, but the songs are decent. And Konami has their own soundtrack as well, but I would give Konami's game 1 point and FIFA game 1 point. Both there are good songs, bad songs, but if I'll be listening to soundtracks on my channel, I'll be getting copyright strikes. The next one is events. There has been a very big problem for Konami throughout the years. This year they improved. There are so many events right now. There is online divisions, a very exciting feature, and for the way you're playing with your team, like FIFA is really geared for players paying for a special battle pass, royal pass inside the game, and this way getting all the best players, or trying to grind non-stop. You sit in your basement, you never touch grass, you need to get players, sell players, buy players, refresh all the time. And in order to be competitive at higher leagues, of course, you can enjoy the game casually, like I said before. Or if you want to be competitive in a football, you can buy 11 base players, standard players, train them to the max, ensure that you're training their playstyle. And I mean, I have a lot of guys on my channel as well, so you can check this out. And then you can enjoy the gameplay and beat with your own skill any opponent on any given day. Of course, there can be scripting in the game. There's scripting in FIFA as well. It happens. The game wants you to lose from time to time. I would say that in terms of events, both games get a good solid 8 out of 10, and Konami has improved. It would have been like 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 last season for Konami. And the last one is licensing, and this is actually a big issue because Konami, the logos of the teams are pathetic. They're coming up with the names of the teams are also pathetic, but I understand it's all about not being able to acquire those licenses, and it's kind of a shame that they can't really share these licenses like they do with Manchester United and some other clubs. The licensing has been a very strong side for FIFA, and they're getting 3 out of 3 from me, and of course Konami 1 out of 3 is disappointing, but the way they're building around this dream team concept and the way they're like hiding logos of the teams, making sure that for legends it's all about their national flags, it looks not that petrifying. So as you can see, this has been my rating based on points. I attributed those points based on my on feel, and this is how eFootball is edging FIFA Mobile. It all depends on your approach. If you're more into casual play, go for FIFA. Realistic football, understanding different aspects of the game. I'm not saying that the game is not without flaws. I played a game with my opponent had 2 goalkeepers, so there are bugs to be fixed. But with that said, I would still say that eFootball is a superior game. That's my opinion, but there is also asterisks on what you're preferring in your gameplay. I hope this video was useful for you, and of course let me know in the comments which game you prefer. Slava Ukraini!